I'd like to call this meeting, the Clay County Commission, to order. We will begin with our invocation. So please come forward.
Good evening. I'm Natalie Bergen. I am the president of the Children's Ministry for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Liberty area. I'm grateful to be here and thank you for having me. Our Father in heaven, we would like to pause at the beginning of this meeting to acknowledge thy goodness. We express gratitude for thy guiding hands in our lives. We're thankful for the opportunity to gather to discuss our needs for our community and the things that can be done to make this community a good place to live in and raise our families. We're grateful for the good people who give their time to serve in Clay County. We pray for blessings upon them. Please bless them with wisdom and integrity in their decisions. We pray for the spirit of brotherly love and cooperation on all who participate in this meeting. We pray that the discussions tonight will lead to better understanding of issues that are being dealt with in Clay County. We pray for the leaders of our nation and all around the world, that they will have thy guiding hand in their responsibilities and decisions. We're thankful for the life and teachings of thy Son. We pray that we will remember him, follow his example, and love as he would in all that we do. In thy name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Nolte?
Here.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes, here.
Commissioner Lawson?
Here.
Commissioner Wagner?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Here.
Brings us to approval of the agenda. Is there a motion related to the approval of this evening's agenda?
Move to approve tonight's.
Commissioner Johnson, you are recognized.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion has been made for the approval of this evening's agenda. Discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Next on our agenda are ceremonial matters. We have one under that heading, 2025-328. Mr. Administrator, if you'd like to introduce that, then I will recognize Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes, tonight we have a proclamation for Family Caregivers Month for November 2025. As you said, Commissioner Carpenter would be recognized.
Commissioner, would you like to be recognized? There you are.
Thank you, Commissioner. So November, as you know, there's lots of days and months and weeks, and this one is an especially important one in my view. November is Family Caregivers Month, and been in communication with some folks from the AARP about making sure that our local governments take a moment to recognize the millions of people across this country who provide care for loved ones. I'm going to read just part of the resolution because these are long with lots of whereases, but I'll just read a part of it. In Clay County, we recognize the 800,000 family caregivers across the state of Missouri who are helping their older parents, spouses, and other loved ones live independently in their homes where they want to be. Missouri's dedicated family caregivers provide 750 million hours of care every year, adding up to $11.6 billion in unpaid labor annually. And family caregivers deserve our gratitude, but they also need common sense solutions that save them time and money and provide support. Everyday heroes, family caregivers in Clay County help their older parents, spouses, and siblings or grandparents live independently with dignity. Now, therefore, resolved, we, Clay County Commission, by virtue of the authority invested in us in the county constitution, do hereby proclaim November 2025 as Family Caregivers Month in Clay County. I'm not sure, do we have any folks here who want to help celebrate family caregivers? I didn't know if somebody with AARP was coming out. What I can share from my own personal experience, I think probably most people in this room have had experience dealing with older relatives and providing care as they age, up to and including end-of-life care, and the toll that can take emotionally and financially and time and the burden of it. I've talked before about my grandfather, Riley Baldwin, who was a circuit judge here in Clay County for 25 years, for a good portion of which right here in this building. He was born in 1931 and is now in his mid-90s, has pretty advanced Parkinson's and requires a lot of care. Up until last year, a lot of that care got provided by my mom and my dad. When my mom passed away, other family members, of course, had to step up. One of them, so Raleigh, his first wife passed away very young. They had 3 young kids, and in their 30s, she got cancer and passed away, leaving him with 3 kids. He remarried. In part because he had 3 young kids and they needed taken care of. Eventually separated and divorced Diana Baldwin, but for me, she was my grandmother. I never got a chance to meet my biological grandmother. And in one of the more remarkable things to happen, several decades after getting divorced, she has come back and has been taking care of my grandfather, her ex-husband. And it's been remarkable to see, and it's been very helpful, to the family to help provide that care for somebody who needs a lot. Sadly, she went to the hospital herself on Sunday evening and has pretty advanced heart disease, and it's untreatable. And so now she is facing life-threatening illness and will require a lot of care as well. And so my family is dealing with this exact issue, has been for several years now, and certainly was aware of the issue before, but it is another thing to experience it firsthand. As the country moves along and we continue to have an aging population and trends go in that direction, it just is going to require, I think, a lot of attention from all of us to address this issue and make sure that families have what they need to live with dignity, as the resolution says. So with that, happy to close on that, and just want Clay County to help celebrate Family Caregivers Month. Thanks.
Anyone else wishing to speak from the commission? Thank you for sharing that story. That was quite moving, and it's one that a lot of our family share. My wife is currently doing similar duties for her mother, who is also in her 90s. And it's one of those things that it is inspiring, because it's not glamorous. It's not, some days it's not pleasant, but those people who perform those tasks are truly doing God's work. And I think that the fact that your family has so stepped up to support their senior members in their family group is inspiring to us all. So, I mean, certainly, you guys have really shown a great example of what it means to truly be a family. It's not just, going to the park and playing. There are a lot of things going on, and you guys are an example of what it means to truly be a family. So thank you for sharing those comments with us.
Thank you.
If there's no one else, is there anyone here who is from any of the organizations who would like to come forward and speak on this matter? Okay. That being the case, what we will do is we will pause for a moment. We will come down here in front of the dais, and Commissioner Carpenter will present the resolution.
All right.
Heads up. Very good. That completes our ceremonial matters. Next, our public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment on any issues not on this evening's agenda that they would like to address to the commission? Do we have? Please come forward. Anybody who does wish to speak either in this section or in later sections, make sure that the green light is on. Please state your name and then address your comments to the commission, if you please.
Just speak into this and introduce yourself, okay?
Thanks. I've been instructed to introduce myself. I know who I am. My name is Colin Soros. I don't live here. I live in Greencastle, Missouri. But I did talk to, I think it was you, Commissioner Nolte, on the phone for a second. So you probably know the subject that I was interested in.
Could you speak just a little bit more loudly, please?
Let me put this up a little closer.
That should help. Thank you.
I talked to Commissioner Nolte here about the Kansas City Stadium issue. And approximately 30 years ago, we developed a taxing plan that would accommodate this. And I have it written out here in short form, which I'll leave as a copy for each of you. I had 12 of them, but Dee took one. So you're welcome to have copies of them. And I have some cards here. There's no names or numbers on it, but it does have the website that you can go to and look at for all the details that we have. It's called the gross receipts tax. It's been used many times. We developed it in Oregon. It almost survived the politicians. Parts of it did. It was supposed to be a replacement tax in Oregon, but they made it an add-on tax. Very, very powerful tax. Has very, very little impact on the population and the taxpayers. And it is based on sound taxing theory. And I have a PhD in economics. I'm sure that impresses you. It didn't impress my son. He said, my dad's a doctor, but he's the kind that can't help you. So he was 4 then. He's now a doctor. So in a nutshell, I think the issue for the stadium was raising enough revenue to build the stadium. And if I'm not mistaken on this, the governor has committed, and got it through the Senate and the House of Representatives, $1 billion to put against that $1.5 billion project, which is a tax on all the rest of the state. Okay, and but he left $500 million to at least at this point it's the Jackson County because that's where the stadiums are, and they're supposed to come up with $500 million. That floated around the county, and there were several meetings held throughout the state, and I attended one at the Capitol. They were, the one that I attended, they gave me 3 minutes to present it, and then cut it down to 2, and then they grilled me for a half hour, and by the time I was finished, they were yelling at me. None of you are going to do that, are you? Thank you, appreciate that. This is a tax here. I'll tell you the state side of it. It's on the, we're trying to get it on the ballot now as a petition, an IP. But in one sentence, this is what it is. It's a 5% tax on all goods and services sold in the state, included in the price of whatever sold, sent in by sellers only, and replaces all other taxes, fees, assessments, permits, and licenses. The motivation for property tax is coercion. That's the theory behind it. It came from the Dark Ages, back at the time of the knights in armor, and the knights usually had land which they got by conquest, and then they would get the serfs or the peasants to work the land, and they had to pay rent. And if they stopped paying rent, they were kicked off the land. We have exactly the same system here. It's the same theory, only the names have changed. Instead of having the landlord, we have the government. And instead of having serfs, we have taxpayers. And instead of having rent, we have property tax. And if you stop paying your property tax, you'll find out who owns your land. See? With this gross receipts tax, once you buy it, it's yours, whether it's a loaf of bread or a house. No more property tax. The gross receipts tax will fully fund all the budgets that the government has very, very efficiently, and that's one of the theories of good tax, is it has to be efficiently collected. You don't want to spend 50 cents on every dollar to collect a dollar. Okay? And so, at any rate, this is the I'll just show you here, and you'll get a copy of this. But I'll just show you here the system in a flow chart. Okay, this is for the state. The state receives the revenue from the sellers, directly from the sellers. If they don't pay it, they pay a civil penalty, not a criminal penalty. So in other words, they just get fined until they pay it. And from there, it goes to fund all of the state, local, and city budgets for the whole state. And any excess goes to a stabilization fund, which is a little savings account or a disaster account if you need it. And it goes, and it gets filled up over for two biennium budgets. So there's lots of money in there, and it'll slowly fill up. Incidentally, fines, penalties, and forfeitures are deposited to the stabilization fund. That's to ensure that our justice system remains just. And then any excess after that goes to pay off bonded indebtedness. And then any excess after that goes to reduce the rate. And so and so the rate will automatically come down if there's more revenue than is necessary to do it. Once those base budgets are all set after the election, and this gets passed, then that becomes their base budget. And to increase the budget, they have to go to the people and ask. And but if more revenue comes in than they need, then it will automatically adjust. So that's at the state level. Notice this little circle over here. This is local taxing districts. I'm surprised that Missouri doesn't have them. Okay, local taxing districts, and this is a way to fund local taxing district projects. The stadium is one of them. Okay? And how it's funded is from the gross receipts tax, which means it goes to it's taxed to one of the most stable and revenue-rich and productive revenue sources that there is, which is the marketplace. That's the only reason. The only reason that it exists is because the government provides the infrastructure for the efficient exchange of goods and services, and so we tax those people who use that infrastructure. Okay, and it taxes everything else in the government that we spend money on, and when new things are brought up, then they take it to the people and ask if they want to spend their money on that. Okay, so just one last word here about the taxing districts and the stadium. I did the numbers on it to find out what it would be. The greater Kansas City area has 9 counties in it, and you guys are one of them. And I propose that would be a logical taxing district. Okay? And so I looked up how much revenue it raises, or rather what the GDP is, which is a gross domestic product. Okay? And it raises 185.7 billion. That's what it gets spent in this area right here. I'm sorry. So if you multiply that by 1/2 of 1%, then you will get for the first year 928.5 million. And if you run this project for 2 years, that will be 1.857 billion, which is more than the project is. The project's $1.5 billion. In addition to that, this does not, I didn't include in these calculations any taxes on services, because the gross receipts tax taxes goods and services. But services are so spongy that it's hard to get a good number on it. But the estimate is that services account for another 77% of that 185.5 billion, or 7 billion. So it almost another 2/3 or 3/4 of it, in addition to the 1.85 billion, and it will be more than enough to fund the project, firstly, and secondly, they can probably do it in a year or a year and a quarter. And it will be, at the end, everybody, it's the stadium is finished and paid for. And it didn't cost the people hardly anything. And so the money that they contributed to it was in whatever they bought. And in this case, it's 1/2 of 1%. So on a $100 purchase, you're only looking at 50 cents. And that goes to the stadium. So this is another way to look at funding the stadium as a local county or a local taxing district, which Missouri doesn't have. So that would have to be done. And, but I think it would be pretty nice to do it, because once that structure is built, then all the counties that were in that taxing district will also have access to all of the monies that could be raised in that taxing district for a project that they might need. Today, it's the stadium. Tomorrow, it might be a water tower over in Ray County. And I explained how it all works in this paper, and I'd be delighted to explain more, except I can see you're getting tired.
If you can make sure that you drop whatever paperwork you want off with the administrator, he can make sure that it gets distributed to the commissioners.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Are you the administrator? Thank you very much. There's lots more information, and I've been contacted by Phil Lavoda, and he wants to get more detail about this, and he's interested. So there's a couple things that have to be done. The organization has to get put together, but once it's put together, then it's permanent, and and everybody has access to it. Okay? And you'll see in those papers there that this is, I talk about the commissioners all getting together from all of these counties and making a list of the improvements that they want to make. Then it goes up to the vote, up to the public for a vote, and it's a double majority vote. One is the popular vote, and in the local taxing district, it has to be also a majority of the precincts, so that little votes in little places get counted.
Okay. Well, appreciate you
Thank you
bringing
very
that
much.
information to us. Thank you.
Thank you. My numbers and names on the paper, so
Oh,
if you're
good.
interested, give me a call.
Thank you again
Thank
for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizens wishing to address the commission? Seeing none. That brings us to our consent agenda. There has been a request to move 2025-335 from consent to regular agenda. With that change in mind, Mr. Administrator, please proceed with the remaining items on the consent agenda. As we all know, one commissioner can request an item being moved, and so that will be moved on to this evening's regular agenda.
Yes.
So with that,
Yes, move forward with the other remaining items. We have 2025-332, approval of invoice payments for Clay County for the period of October 18th through October 31st of accounts payable. They had a total of 528 invoices, totaling $1,222,593.24. Next one is 2025-329, approval of correction of flood control lease disbursement in the amount of $28,674.69 from the Treasurer Department. Next one is 2025-330, is approval of term and supply cooperative agreement with Cintas Fire Protection, inspection and certification services throughout all county buildings through our Facilities Department. Our next one is 2025-331, is approval of IFB number 127-25, term and supply agreement with Stacian Wholesale Electric Company, electric supplies for facilities as well. Next one is 2025-334, approval of Title IV-D County Reimbursement Cooperative Agreement, Missouri Department of Social Services through our Prosecutor's Office. That be from 1/1/2026 through 12/31/2028. And our last one is 2025-336, approval of disposal of information technology electronic equipment as stipulated per Article 7 of Chapter 37, surplus and auction of County Code, of the County Code of Ordinances for our Information Technology Department. Those will be the items for our consent agenda for approval tonight.
Commissioner Johnson.
Move to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Excuse me. Motion's been made for the approval of this evening's consent agenda. Discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. That brings us to our regular agenda. We now have 2 items under this evening's regular agenda. We'll go ahead and start with 2025-333, and then we will go with the newly added agenda items. So, Mr. Administrator, if you would proceed with that.
Yes. Item 2025-333, approval of invoice payments for Clay County Prosecutor's Office for the period of October 18th, 2025 through October 31st. We have a total of 12 invoices totaling to $2,242.81.
Commissioner Johnson.
Move to approve 2025-333.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2025-333. Discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
I recuse myself?
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 5 in favor, 1 recusal.
Very good. That brings us to our next and final regular agenda item, 2025-335. Mr. Administrator?
Yes, 2025-335, is appointment of members to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The member that we're looking to appoint was Larry Yeatman. Term to expire is 2/28/2027.
Very good. With that, is there anyone who would like to start the discussion on this? Commissioner Lawson, you're recognized.
Yeah. First of all, let me say something. Larry Yeatman is one of the finest individuals I know. I have no concern with him being placed on the Planning and Zoning Board. And I think that everything he does is done ethically. This has nothing to do with Larry, and I did have a conversation with him earlier today to explain my feelings on this situation. My problem is that we had discussed this some time back, the placing of people on the boards. As I understood, there'd be a number of people that put their application in for a board, and then that would be sent out to everybody and said, these are the people that have asked to be placed on the board. There would be, people, we can't discuss it amongst ourselves over the phone or anything because of the Sunshine Law. So we would, send our feelings to our administrator saying, this is a great one, or I'd rather have this person on, and here's 2 or 3 others, and then come to a consensus together. And then when it came before the commission, then it was just a clean vote. Oh, yeah, Fred, he wants on. Yeah, great, we all want him on the board. But this time, as it's happened in the past, I had placed my name for the Planning and Zoning Board. Now, let me say something, and I say this, I can put my hand on God's word and say this. In the years that I have sat on this commission, I have fought for issues very strongly. I have never, ever fought for an issue with myself as a recipient of good that would come from that. I have always fought for everybody else. Just like with the 190, okay, I'm an old lady, so I'm going to benefit from it. That's great. But that wasn't my thought when I fought as hard as I did to get that thing approved. And I met with some people that did delay and delay and delay. So we finally got that taken care of. All I cared about were the people that called me and said, crying, some of them, we're going to lose our home because the taxes keep going up. We can't do this. That was my whole focus when I fought for that. anything I've ever fought for, I've fought for other people. This is a time where I put my application in on this. I saw no reason, because I am someone in the unincorporated area, I saw no reason why it would be detrimental to this county, to that board. So I felt good about it. And I kind of covered my bases with some of the commissioners and said, I'm going to do this. Then only to find out that after I did that, it wasn't like Larry put his application in, because had I known he put his application in and wanted to be on the board, I would have withdrawn my name immediately. But that wasn't the situation. He was called and asked to put his name. Do you want to be on this board? You know, and it wasn't like they solicited him to come onto the board. So I felt that that was somewhat unethical in my humble opinion. But I thought that we were going to try to do this more as a team, and I don't see that that happened this time. So that's very upsetting to me. And the other thing I'd like to know is, I went in and looked at our Constitution. Nowhere in that Constitution does it address our boards in the way that it says, this must be the makeup of this board. There has to be a commissioner on this board, or there has to be, you know, certain people on the board. When I went in and looked at the board description, it is quite specific about that. So I would ask our attorney, where is the legality on how the makeup of this board is? If it is not in, if it is not listed in our Constitution, who made up these rules many moons ago to do this the way that the makeup of our board is today?
Would you like to go ahead and have the counselor address your question?
Please,
Okay, please.
if you would.
Mr. Counselor, please proceed.
So I think the Planning Commission is governed by Chapter 64 of the Missouri statutes, and specifically 64.020. And I can kind of read that
If you would,
Okay.
please, I appreciate that.
The Planning Commission shall consist of one of the commissioners of the county commission selected by the county commission, so that's one person, the county highway engineer, the chairman of 2 municipal planning bodies in the county to be appointed by the county commission, and 6 residents of the unincorporated territory of the county to be appointed by the county commission.
Okay.
By the
So
way,
that's great.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I looked at the website today, and I believe it had 3 municipals listed, so we might want to check into that just to make sure that we correct any inadvertent errors that we might have on our website. Please continue, Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Could you please, before we go to you, Commissioner Lawson, I've had a request that you go ahead and repeat the citation that you were reading from.
64.020.
Did everybody get that okay? Good. Did you have anything else to add, Mr. Counselor?
That's the language from
Okay.
the statute.
So, Commissioner Lawson, you're ready to
Yeah.
go.
So I just like to, thank you, sir. I'd just like to know if any of the other commissioners perceived that what we had initially discussed was that way, and the fact that by state statute, it can be any commissioner that serves on that board. So,
I did have one question of clarification, if you don't mind. Was the citation you read from, was that specifically for first-class counties, first-class charter counties, or how would you preface that?
It is for first-class counties, our interpretation is for us. It's the statute that would apply to us now that we're a charter county.
Okay.
okay.
No, you're still recognized. I have some other people wanting to chime in. Do you want
No,
to?
that's good. I just wanted-
Go ahead and leave your, well, I'll put your mic back on here in a minute, but, because I mean, you are, well, I'll get back to you when I kind of work my way down the thing. Commissioner Withington, I believe you sought recognition.
So looking at the website, it says there's vacant municipal planning chair. I don't see any other vacancies. Whose term are we looking to fill here?
Let me pull.
I see Mark Beggs, 2029, Mike Brinkley, 2027, Thomas Decker, 2027, Randall Morris, 2029, David Rodas, 2029.
Yes, the member who is not listed here is Mr. Scarrett. He submitted a resignation. I believe he had some.
Who was it?
Scarrett, I'm not sure the spelling
Brad
of the last.
Scarlett.
Excuse me?
Submitted a resignation earlier this,
Yes,
Brad Scarlett.
right. So he's not listed on here for that reason.
So I don't see a term expiration for you, Jerry. When's your term expire?
I would pretty much defer to whatever council has, what he reads in the
So the statute
statute.
doesn't give a term for the county commissioner. It certainly would expire upon the end of, you have to be a county commissioner. That's really the only requirement.
Yeah, so I just didn't know because, how did you get appointed to that, Jerry? Because I know in the past you like to say that it's, the presiding commissioner is, appointed to this position, but our county attorney just said, it says, the commission shall consist of one of the commissioners of the county commission selected by the county commission. So that would mean that you got appointed. Did you appoint yourself? Right? Because I don't remember voting for you. I'm just inquiring because I don't remember.
What I was told when we became a county, a charter county, was that was a position that was for the presiding. I said, okay, well, if I have to serve on it, that's fine.
So, but now we know that's not the case, right?
Is that Counselor, is that, if you could clarify that point, is the presiding commissioner the office in a charter county? Because that's what I understood was, because prior to that, I was not on this board.
Yeah.
It is, a commissioner does not have to be the presiding commissioner.
Okay, well, in that case, I was misinformed.
Misinformed by who?
I thought it was county council. I don't want to put anybody on the spot.
Okay. So, so then maybe we could solve this problem. Larry, I like Larry. Larry's a good guy. Full disclosure, Larry's my insurance agent. When State Farm fired me, Larry helped me out. So I don't know, but Larry's a really good guy. I like Larry. So maybe we can solve this problem. Maybe, Jerry, you serve on probably 50 boards, maybe we could.
Not even close, no.
Jerry, every time I talk to you, I'm going to this meeting, I'm on this board, The county constitution tells me I got to be here. So, okay, maybe it's not 50, but it's at least 20, 25.
No.
Anyway, maybe you could step off and let her fill a term. We rotate the pro tem. Maybe since this is a commissioner, not the presiding commissioner, maybe that's something you could be a team player on and let other people share on this. So that's just a proposal. So, but I like Larry. I like you, Joanne.
Thank
So,
you.
but
I like you too.
but I just didn't know because I had read this language before we got here today, and I didn't see anywhere where it said. Because I remember 3 years ago you said that you had to be on here because you were the presiding commissioner, and then when I read this morning, I saw nowhere where it said presiding commissioner. It just said a commissioner. So maybe this is something you can rotate and be a team player, Jerry.
That would be something that obviously I don't want to unnecessarily narrow the discussion. That would be something that certainly we could be discussing. Right now, we are discussing this particular one, but I appreciate the broadening of the discussion. But to go much further, we probably would want to notice that up as
So maybe we could
another.
have a discussion next week, Mr. Administrator, on this part to expand that discussion.
That'd be up to you all.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Well, I'd like to request that for next week then.
Okay. Do you have any else?
Oh, no, I was just.
Okay. No, I just wanted to keep the discussion going. Commissioner Wagner?
Thank you. I believe Commissioner Withington's kind of beat me to the punch because based on what was suggested in the reading, it would seem it's an and, not an or kind of approach. And so so I guess kind of to the last part of the discussion we just had, I suggest sticking to what is within with what is in this particular ordinance, because I think what has been brought up both by both of my colleagues is that is not the same issue. So if it is
really more of, we want to tackle the representative from this commission on that body. That's cool, and that's fine with me. But I've heard nothing that suggests the person who has been brought before us to fill that part of the makeup of that board has done anything to necessitate not continuing to have him on board. So I guess, for whatever it's worth, my feeling is to support the nomination that's come forward, but I'm in agreement that if that discussion related to who represents us on the commission is certainly one that is worth having, and I would join with my colleague, Commissioner Withington, to add that in whatever fashion is most appropriate, whether it's for discussion or anything else. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Thanks. So leaving aside that bit for now, agree, Larry Yateman's great. I think he just came to our meeting recently. I think I went on record saying what a great guy he is. So I think he will serve us well on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Look forward to confirming him to get on there. My question is just, did we have other applicants, to the process question that the commissioner brought up? Did we have other applicants, and was Mr. Yateman one of the applicants, and then, was he selected from that pool?
I'm glad you brought that up, because the practice is supposed to be, and Mr. Administrator, I didn't look at the notes when it came out because it was just, part of the emails that came out. But the practice is supposed to be that if there is a spot open, that all applicants are listed, so that I would nominate Joe Smith, and there may be 4 or 5 other people on there, but the way it's supposed to work, and if it's not, we need to make sure it works that way, and that is all people are listed so that there is a broader spectrum of who is on there. I think we've done that in the past, and I didn't realize we'd stopped. Or maybe this one fell through I don't know. I really don't know on that one, because I don't send out those notices.
Understood. Is it your recollection that on this particular one, did we get multiple applicants for this, to fill this slot?
Two that I'm aware of, that would be Mr. Yeatman and Commissioner Lawson.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to skip over you and go to Commissioner Johnson, if that's okay. Let me go back here. Commissioner Johnson, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. So just to clarify what Commissioner Carpenter is saying, so there were, it sounds like you made a phone call to ask Larry to be on it, which, by the way, I can't stand Larry. I think he's an absolute idiot. I'm just kidding. He's watching. I just talked to him a while ago. I love Larry like everybody. If you know Larry, you love Larry. But apparently he called and asked if he'd be on the board. Were the applicants, had other applicants already turned in applications before you called Larry?
I don't recall right off the top of my head whether Commissioner Lawson's application predated that or not. I would have to look, but if you say it does, I believe you, but
there are no others.
Let me check just to make sure. Mr. Administrator, we had 2 people for that. And just to clarify, if you don't mind if I can take a moment, the requirements are that the citizen members be residents of unincorporated Clay County, which is a pretty thin slice of our population. Right. So this is one of those boards where it gets fairly narrow in the number of people we can draw upon. So with that, please continue, Commissioner.
Yeah, so no, I totally support Larry on this, and I'll move for that in a moment, but I have to make a couple of comments here. As far as Commissioner Lawson being on that board as well, I'm not a big fan, and we went through this with the zoo board, and I was pretty adamant about that, and I'm still adamant. I don't think elected should be put on boards. I just think there's too much of a conflict, except for when the position requires an elected to be on there. Like this ordinance or this statute requires us to have one of our commissioners on there. So yeah, let's have a commissioner on there. When it doesn't require it, I don't like electeds being on those boards, just because I think we have 250,000+ people in this county. We should get other people that won't be a conflict, won't be driven by other motives than purely what's best for them. So with that in mind, I would prefer and then the second issue that Commissioner Withington brought up, and this isn't a Commissioner Nolte thing, this is a presiding commissioner thing. We have a lot of of boards is referred to where the presiding commissioner is on those boards. And a lot of that happened back when you had 3 commissioners, you and 2 others. We've expanded from that. We've expanded with our constitution, and I think we got to look at some boards and say, okay, how can we expand those so that we can incorporate more of this body on there, and instead of always just being, no matter who the presider is, it's not you, but no matter who the presider is, it's not always just a presider. Let's put some people in that have some expertise, that have some desire, whatever it is. So with that in mind, if this is one of those where, hey, it's not required, we don't have to have the presiding commissioner, I'd fully support, re-examining that and seeing, hey, if we do have a commissioner who wants to be on there, and to your point, you thought you put on there by default, maybe that's when we solve this whole thing. We get Larry past tonight, we come back and talk about this whenever, next week or whatever, to see if we want to shuffle the commission position around. And I think that could answer everyone's questions here. So
Actually,
that's where
I have a lot of, I'm sorry, did you?
Yeah, I'm all done.
I was going to say, I have a lot of sympathy for what you were saying, and that was one of the things that motivated me, was I thought 2 commissioners on there, we would be better off having a citizen on there, a non-elected citizen or non-governmental, because some of the others on the board are governmental but not elected officials, of course. And I don't have a particular problem with stepping down. In fact, when I was told I had to serve on it, I did not pop the champagne cork. I mean, I will do what I'm called upon to do, but I don't have a problem stepping down. I could use one less meeting in my life, and I do appreciate that. One of the things that, and Commissioner Lawson, you're on 3 bodies that vote on these issues. Let me read them in, because and just to make sure.
I resigned from one of those, so
Which one did you resign from? The Building Commission?
not the Board of Zoning Adjustments, the other one.
Building Commission.
Yeah, Building.
And of course, you're a member here to vote too.
Yeah.
Because we are going to be hearing something, I don't know at what meeting, but it'll come up. It was kicked up from Planning and Zoning. So with the exception of myself, everybody will have an opportunity to, again, vote on that. So that was one of the things I didn't realize, that you had resigned from the third committee that you were on. The other thing is, I try to honor your requests. I think in the realm of board positions, you've had, I believe, 3 requests come to me, and I have been fine with 2 of them. So, 2 out of 3. I hope you don't take that personally, but the thing is, 2 out of 3 times you've come to me and asked me to nominate somebody, I have done so. So, with that, let's see, is there anyone else waiting? If you don't mind, would you like to address that? And then I will go back to doggone it. Let me get back over here. Okay, well, I've just activated both of you, but please go ahead, Lawson,
Okay.
Commissioner Lawson.
Let me make sure I understand something that was just said. When people put their names in, you list both of the people and then send it out?
What happens is, we go through it, I talk to the administrator, and we send out that list. Sometimes I've already nominated somebody, sometimes not, but those, I don't know exactly what the distribution is like, because that's a staff function.
Well, okay, and I think that's a great way to do it. If you've got 5 people that have asked, all 5 people should be shown. This time, there was no list sent out saying Commissioner Lawson and, once on this board, and I had asked some time back, and even did what I felt was the proper thing, and that was to call you and advise you that I had put my name in on the board. You really didn't say, no, you shouldn't do that, or you're on too many boards, or something of that nature. You just kind of talked a little bit about it, and I said, well, I put my application in. It was after that you called Larry to ask him if he wanted to be on the board, and that's fine, because I think he's a wonderful gentleman. I have no problem with that. But he hadn't asked for it to be done. You had solicited him to do it. And then when the list came out, there weren't 2 people on that list, there was 1. And he had already been advised, and it was on the consent agenda. It wasn't on a discussion item or anything. And I guess that's what I found unethical about the whole thing. But it's over now. I've had my say. I feel better about it. And I would support Larry no matter what. I said that from the outset, that he is somebody I feel will do a wonderful job on it. And then we can further discuss some of these other options later on. But, you know, you talk about me being on 3 boards.
Well, that was what was listed on the website.
Yeah, well, no, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 boards I sit on, and one of those I did resign. But regardless, if I sat on all 3, what difference would that make when you sit on what, 20?
You mean on this, I was referring to this issue, I was referring to this issue.
Let me finish talking.
Of course.
The fact that there's someone who sits on a multitude of boards, some instances, you must sit on those by state statute, and I get that. But to say I'm sitting on too many, I work my fanny off for this job. I'm out there visiting with people. If they have a road that's bad, I go to their house, talk to them, have them show me that before I call anybody to do anything. People have issues like the folks did out there with the quarry. I'm out there sitting in their living room to make sure what they're telling me is the truth. And then I'll fight for them if they're really giving me a true story. And so, you know, I try to, I don't do this job one day a week. Just come in here and sit my fat little fanny in here and approve things. I'm out there with the people, and I really, really take this seriously. I've devoted myself to this job. It's not just a one day a week thing to me. So when I ask for something, it is upsetting to me that my request is more or less diminished. There have been people that I have given you names of, you are correct. And when I did, one gentleman, it took me 6 months to finally get him brought before this board. The other gentleman who I tried to get on, that we just finally got on, it took numerous meetings and requests and crybabying around to try to get it done. It wasn't like I said, here's a gentleman that wants on the board and he sent his application in. Okay, we'll put him down with everybody else. I didn't feel it was that way. So all I'm saying is you have the power. You have the power by our Constitution to name people. But as I've said in the past, I feel that if we're a team, which you told me before I took this job, that we were going to work together as a team and we were going to make this county better. I don't see that happening in some instances. So consequently, all I'm saying is in the future, even though you have the power to do so, I think that this should be an effort with all of us together that make these decisions. And then when we vote for it, somebody's feelings aren't hurt. You know, we don't have to justify what we've done. So anyway, I'm all for Larry, and then we'll discuss whatever comes down the road.
Commissioner Johnson. Oh, doggone it, I'm sorry, my fingers are too fat fingers, I apologize. There you go.
I see Commissioner Wagner still wants to talk, but I'm going to go ahead and move it now. Move to approve 2025-335.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2025-335 with the name Larry Yeatman with term to expire 2/28/2027. So, motion's been made for the discussion. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you, and I'll be voting for that. I just got kicked off the system, and so anyway. But I did want to make a request of staff. As I was thinking about it, I note that this is the second time in maybe 3 or 4 months that we've had a discussion related to a commissioner's position that we found out later did not necessarily have to be the presiding commissioner. And I believe part of the reason why we've had these sorts of discussions is is perhaps a little bit of inertia when there was a 3-person body as opposed to the 7, as it was remarked a little bit earlier. And as we've taken a bit of time, as we did the last time, to have a discussion about did we know and how'd you get there and who told you you could and so on and so forth, I tend to think that is not necessarily productive. But I think what would be productive is if we don't stumble into the next one, because I feel like there will be a next one. There always is a next one. And so the request I have, whether that's done through the county administrator or through the county councilor, is a review of those positions that the presiding commissioner currently has. And just so we're clear, I'm not looking for any of them for myself. But I would like to see if we can at least make some effort to avoid these sorts of situations in the future. And maybe we can't. But I do feel like, to the extent that we can be knowledgeable, and I think even for the presiding commissioner, to be knowledgeable about where statute or charter or whatever says this is a position that he is to take, or the person in that position, and these are others that he is on, but they don't necessarily have to be him. Hopefully that doesn't invite a flood of requests to take those positions. But I do think if we can get to that answer before we have conversations like we've had today, I think it is helpful. And so however you wish to propagate that request is totally up to the two of you. But I would just make that request because I feel like we don't have to have that sort of discussion. I feel like that could be done more productively. And I think we can be more proactive in that discussion in the future. And again, nothing, as to the presiding commissioner's performance on any of those things, but it just strikes me that if we can get ahead of that, we should. And I'll just leave it at that.
I would appreciate that too, because trying to dig through all those, it would be easier if staff could keep me in the place where I need to be. Did you wish to respond, Mr.
I do. I have a couple of items tonight from one, I was going to ask if Commissioner Withington will be willing to allow me a little bit more time than next week. I say that because there are a couple of things there. One, you asked for planning and zoning to be reviewed and determine how that's going to be done. Two is to ask for us to review all the committees that we have and then go back to state statute, compare those two to determine whether or not the presiding commissioner will be the lead based off of that. And the other one you've asked, Commissioner Lawson mentioned that in the past that it was given a list of the different people that were provided. I can tell you I have not given that list, but maybe we can make a determination when we do have that meeting discussion item of what you would like to see as a board, as a commission, to allow us to move forward in a uniform fashion. And the other one you've asked for us to look at is as far as the how you want to decide it upon as far as representatives, because ultimately we're here to allow citizens to serve on our committees. And we want that to be as streamless as possible. We also want to be as welcoming as possible and for them to feel like they're getting into something that is already a great situation. So as we do that, they do watch our meetings, so we want to make sure we can provide you as a commission the information to make the informed decision. But the last one, when you say that you want to see the commission work together, my understanding from the charter is that I help as the administrator to work with the presiding commissioner on recommendations and then bring it back to you as a commission. Now, the question we have to work on is that a ratification of that selection or is that approval of that selection? Because those are two different things when it comes to board actions. So we'll make sure that, provide that back to you so we'll be making an informed decision. That may be the very first meeting in December will be better for me to be able to work together regarding him, because the last one we need to make sure. And I will bring the last part of that is that some of these things we may have to look at because we do have an upcoming charter review in 2026 that you may have to address at that time. But it's good to make those discussions now so we can look at that in further.
Commissioner Withington, I believe you were seeking recognition.
Yeah, so you and I are thinking just alike, because I was looking at the county constitution today also, and I saw the charter review, and I was going to ask after the first of the year, because we have to have that picked in February, if we could have a discussion, presentation on how that's going to plan out, because I think all of us should have a
Yeah.
say in that process, just not, one commissioner.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And
no, I'm-
and just to answer that, we've already discussed that myself, and we're gonna, and Kevin, to bring that to you guys as a discussion item, to do a presentation on that, to let you know what the next steps will be.
It's the bald head, man. We're thinking alike. But yeah, no. And so as for next week, that's fine. I agree with Scott. I think probably this entire commission has asked for that list several times, and we just have never been provided that list of what boards the presiding commissioner has to be on, because we know that he doesn't have to be on every single one that he says he's supposed to be on. But yeah, so if we can get that list, that'd be great. Damon, I sent you an email just requesting that, but if you want to push it a week or two or after the holiday or Thanksgiving, that's fine with me. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'll get back to you in just a moment. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say, first off, I didn't want to cast any aspersions on the administrator. The fact that maybe that practice of putting all applicants out there, although you've been doing a great job and you feel like you just fit in so terribly well, it is, I think, important that we all remember that you are still relatively new to the job, and that we should not, that we should make sure that we are working with you in a constructive way. I also want to thank Commissioner Lawson, because I have asked for help on various boards and commissions, and she has put herself out there, as have some other commissioners, but very often I need some help on these. And then finally, I would love to be on fewer boards, and it's not anywhere near 25. I would have to take a look, but it's in the single digits, I believe. And in fact, I had, I think, stepped down from the Surface Transportation Board in favor of our roads assistant administrator. I was very happy to do that. I could use a few less meetings to go to. After last year, 2024, it was a real burning the candle at both ends. So I have an appetite to see about spreading this responsibility, because it gets a little bit more than is my ability to carry through as I would like to. With that, I'm going to go, unless there are any further comments, to Commissioner Johnson to close. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to say before we go that direction? I see no comments to be heard, so with that, Commissioner Johnson, you are recognized.
I close.
Very well. With that, please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. That being said, that completes our regular agenda. We now have discussion items. Mr. Administrator, we have one issue under discussion items. Would you please introduce that?
Yes, we do. We have one discussion item, that is our Board of Equalization 2025 report from one of our board members.
As you're making your way forward, remember the green light needs to be on. State your name and then proceed with your discussion item.
Oh, there you go.
Good. I think I'm on. Everyone hear me?
We're on.
Good evening, commissioners and county officials and the public that's here. My name is Jim Rucker. I serve at your pleasure along with two other board members with the Board of Equalization. And we're assigned the responsibility of making certain that taxpayers are given their fair opportunity to express their opinion about the real estate values of the properties that they own. And we take that job very seriously, I will tell you. We've had visits from some of the commissioners, and I think that they could vouch that we go about it in a very serious manner. We meet in August each year, and reassessments, as you know, occur in odd years. So 2023, 25, this was a reassessment year. But we meet every year in August. On the non-reassessment years, it's much of a lighter agenda, of course, because it's a non-assessment year, and it's basically around new construction and that we hear those hearings for. The board is made up of 3 individuals, David Driscoll, Larry Davis, and myself. Each of us pride ourselves with the fact that we have over 50 years each experience in commercial and real estate, and all of us would safely be, it could be said that all of us have those years of experience here in Clay County. So we're very, very familiar with the county on the residential side and on the commercial side. The process begins with the county assessor's office sending out change of value notices. Over the past few years, they range from, back in 18 or 19, it might have been like 70,000 change of value notices, up to 87,000, I believe, in 2023. This year, up a little bit more, 93,000, but it's projected in the 27 year to start going down, depending on how the real estate market behaves and what the evaluations look like. The process starts there, and then the taxpayers receive their notice, and after they receive their notice, they're given an opportunity to meet with the county assessor's office to make an informal hearing about whether or not they agree or disagree with the valuation that the assessor's office has provided. And a lot of those cases get settled right there. I think our assessor's office does a mighty fine job of listening to the taxpayers, and I think the track record proves that they do, and a lot of those matters are taken care of right there and then. For those taxpayers who disagree with that informal hearing, that's when they file an appeal request to appear before the Board of Equalization. And this year we had 629 appeals. Keep in mind, we sent out over 90,000 change of value notices. We wind up with 600. So we met in August. We were thinking with that volume that we'd probably wind up meeting pretty much the entire month of August, but it turned out that one tax consultant filed over 300 of those appeals and then didn't show up for the hearings. So the volume decreased substantially as a result, and it wound up equaling about what we heard in 2023. Out of the appeals, about 60% of those are commercial appeals and about 40% residential appeals. The residential side, they typically represent themselves and they come into the hearing. They're given 20 minutes to make their case, and then the county assessor's department gets their opportunity to express how they got to their valuation as well. After all parties have been heard, the Board of Equalization members huddle and we make a decision, and then that decision is communicated to the taxpayer in a few days by letter. On the commercial side, it's a little bit different because the majority of the commercial hearings that we have, they're represented by tax consultants. They hire people that are qualified to come in and make a presentation. And the commercial side's a little bit deeper, if you will, than on the residential side. So we see, maybe as many as 7 or 8 tax consultants representing a good deal of those commercial taxpayers, and same process. The taxpayer or his or her representative gets 20 minutes, county takes 20 minutes, we huddle and make a decision. The decisions take longer on the commercial side because, again, it's much more of a complicated presentation typically than what you hear on the residential side. The process, I would tell you, is proven. I think that the Board of Equalization spends a lot of time and effort to make certain that taxpayers are heard. The The 3 members of that board are all qualified with over 50 years' experience, basically here in Clay County on the commercial side and residential side. And we accept the charge of making certain that the taxpayers are heard and dealt with as fairly as possible with every person that comes before us. So we're working through that each year. We also find ourselves here, ironically, about every week. So I think there might be a misconception that we just meet in August. Well, we do meet in August every day, from early till late to hear those hearings. But we are also here every week in the county clerk's office, which my hat's off to that department as well. Between the assessor's office and the county clerk's office, that's really what makes this whole thing work, and the Board of Equalization plays its part as well. But we're here each week to review and sign off on stipulations and court orders that come into the clerk's office, and so we have to be here to review those and sign those off too. So it's a weekly task, but our focus is always in August when we have those hearings. I was asked to also comment on the seniors program that got installed this year and how it was going. And fortunately, I would give you a very positive report. I know that it took a lot of effort on your all's part to put that together, and I know it took a lot of effort on the assessors and the clerk's department to get that all installed, along with the technology group, and who knows how many other people were involved in making that all happen. But I got to tell you, I think from my seat that the seniors have accepted, and I think that there's an ease with their concerns that they've had previously that are not so much in existence today. Like in '23, we had more seniors show up at the Board of Equalization compared to this year. There was just a very slight few. And they just didn't get their paperwork filled out in time. It was basically the problem. Some of them weren't aware that there was a system out there for them to be accommodated either. And each time that happened, the assessor or the county clerk, somebody went out in the hallway and made certain that that person understood what they needed to do this year for next year. A couple of things that have come out from that, typical questions that I field out in the public are, one, do we have to do this every year? Do we have to file for this every year? Because they would prefer not. But the answer is clearly yes, you have to. And after you give them an explanation for that, they understand. And then the second question always comes, can I file it on more than just my one property, my primary residence? Of course, that answer is no. It's for the primary residence only. And so once all of this, I think, takes place and gets settled in and everyone understands how it all works, and I think the majority now do, I think it's one that we should be proud of as a county for installing. I guess my last comment would be, I know that I speak for the other two members. We all feel privileged to serve at your all's pleasure. You know, to have over 150 years experience of real estate under our belts, we're prepared for most anything that comes along our way, and we certainly get the support from the assessors, evaluators. They do a marvelous job as well. So, quick report, but I would tell you it's working as intended. Any questions?
Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you, and Mr. President, thank you very much for your service, and please extend to the other members of that committee. As far as I'm concerned, you can have that job as long as you want it. So thank you. You will never find me looking for others with the performance that your committee does. I don't really have a question, but I do have to make the observation, maybe because 2 days ago there was a certain vote in Jackson County related to what to do with their assessor, and I believe you know the results of that. So I do have to make the connection between the performance of the assessor's office and why you only had the 629 and really half of that, because I don't know how much that consultant got paid, but I hope every single person got their money back on that one. But it does strike me that when you have what happened south of the river and you have what you have experienced this year, that seems to suggest to me that you have a process that works all the way through. And so I just want to recognize that since the assessor is here. But also I want to thank you for the work that you and the committee put in. It's a lot of work, and you got to hear a lot of folks make their case, and you sometimes, probably many times, have to deliver some bad news, and who wants to do that? But I appreciate you doing it, and like I said, you can have it as long as you want.
Thank you. So I won't be seeing your application on my desk. I see. I'm going to go to Commissioner Lawson, but I do want to piggyback on something Commissioner Wagner said, and that is, you guys do great work. It's, I've been to some of those hearings that you conduct, and not everybody comes in with a big smile on their face. Sometimes it gets a bit trying, to say the least. And also, I would like to make mention that one of the reasons that we see a different atmosphere here in Clay County as opposed to other counties, which I will not mention at the moment, is that individuals as yourself, you three on that board, do a wonderful job. I think we also have to talk about our assessor and our collector and how great they do. So, I mean, it is a staff-driven, a board-driven process. Thankfully, we here on this commission get to reflect in the glory that you're doing a good job, and we genuinely appreciate that, because otherwise our jobs would be much, much more complicated. So thank you all who are involved in this process, because that also bespeaks to the fact that our citizens are receiving the highest degree of justice that we can give them in this rather tricky atmosphere with property taxes. Commissioner Lawson, you are recognized.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to say you do a spectacular job. I had the great pleasure of going and watching them in action for a couple of different sessions, and I found the way you responded to people, at the questions you ask and the manner in which you ask them was highly professional. I don't think that anybody that appeared before you felt in any way that you didn't have their best interests at heart. So I commend all three of you gentlemen. You did a spectacular job, and that is an unbelievably difficult job. And as always, I always say how wonderful our staff is. You know, our clerk's office was right there and kind of keeping everybody going in the right direction. And the assessor and his staff just blew me away, because the individual would bring up their case of why they felt they should have this lower tax rate. They had their stuff together, and they answered professionally as well. When people left, they may not have been happy with everything, but they felt that they had been treated so fairly, and everybody gave them a great deal of respect. So thank you for what you do. It was a great experience. I'm going to come back next year or the year after or whenever and watch you all again, because it was interesting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would any other commissioners like to join the discussion? Seeing none, is there anything you'd like to add in closing?
No, thank you very much. Appreciate the support.
Wait a minute, you've got a stalker coming up behind you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just want to echo, you all had a discussion about the boards before. I wanted to let you know this is a board that you have got right. These guys are very professional. They've got a lot of education. We all take the time with the taxpayers. I would like to say that as of these 600 and however many appeals that we had, a majority of the decisions that were changed were actually recommendations by my office that we felt that our value was a little high, so we did recommend a few of those. But again, I echo the professionalism of these guys on this board. They all do really good job. There's a lot of numbers that go into it with expense reports and all kinds of data for the commercial side. These guys don't miss a beat, and they've been a pleasure to work with.
Well, one of the things that and I'm glad you mentioned that, one of the things that strikes me is these governmental tasks are not taken, the best route is not to take them on in silos, but the fact that you are communicating, there's a give and take as far as what might be a recommendation and accepting that recommendation. So the fact that you are working together so well and not just in two separate worlds is, I think, part of the secret to your success. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do recommend all the commissioners are more than welcome to stop by and take a look at some of these. It's an eye-opener. I mean, you learn a lot of stuff about how valuations are done with commercial properties, residential properties, ag, and you get a lot of meet with a lot of the taxpayers. So it's a good learning tool for the commissioners to sit down and take a peek. They get pretty busy through the week, and Joanne showed up a lot of the times. I would tell her that we had a full agenda and she would show up, and then most of the people wouldn't show, and she's like, what are you doing to me, Tracy? But it is a good learning tool. You get to see a lot of what we do in action and why we do it. So again, I appreciate everything that the commission's done with this board, and I really appreciate the board members.
Thank you. By the way, you stepped out, but congratulations, Mr. Board Member.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to that staff.
Very well. That concludes our discussion items. Next, our reports. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, I have two reports this evening. Both of them are within your packages for review. The first one is the 2025 Capital Assets Inventory for October 2025 from the Auditor's Office. And the next one is Auditor's Cash Basis Monthly Report for October, as well an audit from the Auditor's Office. Those reports are also available online for any citizens who are to review those items.
Very good. Administrator comments.
No comments from me tonight. Yeah.
Very good. That brings us to County Commission comments. Commissioner Withington, if you'd like to start us off, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. There you are.
Just want to say congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's about time Jay and John are able to see somebody in LA win something. And then also want to say thank you to everybody who voted for Brandy to go to Loggers. She saved me a trip to Buc-ee's and brought me back some beaver nuggets. So thank you to the staff for voting for Brandy.
Commissioner Lawson.
Nothing.
Commissioner Wagner. Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Carpenter. I will make one last comment on the issue of boards and commissions, and that is, I think it is a very good thing when we have commissioners or anyone else on these boards and commissions that they recognize the fact that the alternates can and should try to attend occasionally some of those meetings, so that in the event that the primary person is unable to make it, that the alternate can. And the reason I bring that up is we've been having some discussions on the Total Transportation Committee. Commissioner Thompson is the alternate, and we have been working together on this. And I very much appreciate, I was unable to participate in one of the meetings, and you stepped in, and I certainly appreciate that. And I would suggest that that's an example we should follow, is if you are an alternate, please make part of, I believe, a responsibility that I think is a positive one would be to become familiar with the board that you are an alternate on, and to make sure that when the occasion arises that you are able to step in. And like I say, in my case, I have every confidence in Commissioner Thompson being able to step into those issues that we work on there. So I just want to say thank you to her. And with that, uncover my gavel. We are adjourned. Thank you.